BBC Radio Surrey.
Time now to find out who's putting out the bins tonight. Step forward, comedian Dave Chawner, whose one-man show is coming to Guildford. Bin night tonight, Dave. Is it always your job to put the bins out? Do you negotiate who does the bins? How does it work in your household, please?
You know what? Actually, it is always me that puts the bins out, but we live opposite this garage, and there is a lovely guy that works in the garage. He is more annoyed that it's only ever me putting the bins out, so he started to help me and gets annoyed that nobody else in our block of flats does it. How lovely is that?
That is so. Does he have a name? We need to honour this hero.
Yeah. Now again, this whole story falls apart because I should know his name. I should know everything about.
Nameless hero, right? Nameless hero.
I feel so indebted to him because it happens every single week that I just get so British and uncomfortable. Like, oh, you don't have to. Oh, thank you so much. Do you want a cup of tea? But I feel like too much time has elapsed now that if I did ask his name, it would change the whole dynamic.
Yes. Yeah. I think we don't need to know his name. I think is that because then he can represent everybody. Do you know what I mean? He can be somebody to everybody, and I think that's a really important thing. So moving on from bins, funnily enough, we are talking about your one-man show. You're coming to the Guildford Fringe, which is very, very exciting. How ready and desperate are you to get out and perform in front of actual real-life people?
Oh, I love it. I've got to be honest, I've been doing previews all weekend for the Brighton Fringe, and it's been amazing. And you know what? The thing's really nice about doing gigs now is you don't have this arms folded, sitting back, crossed arm. Go on, make me laugh. Because if people are out, they want it to work. And audiences are so much more giving. They're so much understanding. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I've got to admit, the last Edinburgh show that I did was rubbish. It was absolutely terrible.
Why? In what way? What do you mean? Because I know what goes into making an Edinburgh show. I know the amount of work and the legwork and all the rest of it, and the previews and the work in progress shows and all the rest of it. How was it? In what way was it rubbish?
So many ways. I mean, structurally, thematically, grammatically. I wanted to leave the show and it was my show. Whereas I think the problem is I didn't really relate too much to the topic. Whereas this show is all about dogs. And I think I could talk about dogs until kingdom comes. The big ones, the small ones, the yappy ones, the silly ones, the scruffy ones. So I am so passionate about lovely little dogs that, I'm really looking forward to this one.
So tell me about your dog. What have you got?
Well, that's the kind of show. So the whole story is, I don't know if you've heard, there are numerous apps that connect you with people in your local area who have dogs.
Right.
And it's all about our escapades with basically it's Tinder for dogs.
Fine.
And it's about our escapades with all of these people from different nationalities. We would love to get a dog, but our living environment isn't the best for a dog. And that's kind of the point of the show, is that actually dogs are better than people because dogs bring out the best in people. And it's about all of these little journeys and adventures that have happened through this app. But also, after the last 12 months, we've started celebrating the underdog. And I think it's a really timely show to sort of celebrate the people that get overlooked.
Oh, that is such a good point. And we have, and certainly working here, we've tried to make that a thing by supporting and praising those kind of heroes who live among us, who do remain nameless and what have you, but really kind of heralding that. And there has been that real sense of actual gratitude for some of the smaller things that we do overlook.
I couldn't agree more. And this is the thing, that there are male and female working dogs. There's no gender pay gap. The nearest any dog has ever got to chemical warfare is breaking wind and walking off in disgust. There's so many. I've read so many articles that say having a dog can help improve your mental health and reduce stress. I've never read a single article saying that having a baby can help improve your mental health and reduce stress. And I just think dogs set such a wonderful example for us to follow, like my lovely bin man who gets nothing out of it but just helps us. And I think that's amazing.
Absolutely. So it is in celebration of the underdog. Are you an underdog? Would you pick yourself as an underdog or no?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm so under the dog. I'm almost sub-dog. I think it's kind of... Because there's this weird thing, if I'm entirely honest, in comedy, and I think one of the things that has really brought to the fore over lockdown is status anxiety. Because no matter where you are on a billing in a comedy club, you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. And even if you're headlining, then you're like, oh, I should be on TV. And if you're on TV, then you're like, oh, I don't have my own show. And if you do have your own show, you're like, well, I haven't broken the States yet. And I think speaking to people, this kind of feeling not good enough, imposter syndrome, is so universal in so many areas, whether that's jobs, whether that's family, whether that's friends. And actually, as soon as you acknowledge that, it's amazing how many honest stories people tell you about just not feeling good enough.
You are so right. And the amount of conversations that I've had with people on that exact topic in recent weeks, that's definitely a bit of a zeitgeisty thing as well. So you're out gigging tonight, are you? So where are you off to tonight?
I am. So I'm doing a club in central London. I'm sorry, no one likes London. But I will be, for the Guildford Fringe, I am going to be at the back room of the wonderful Star Inn. And speaking of underdogs, I have to absolutely take my hat off to Nick and Charlotte, who run the Guildford Fringe. They have bought hospital-grade air filters, which cost £800 each, to put in the venue to make everyone COVID secure. It sucks all the air out. They've bought these see-through banners. They have gone so much above and beyond. And the whole programme. So even if it's not my show that you want to come see, even if it bores you to death to think about coming to my show, go and see somebody else's show. Go and support it, because they have paid so much to make it work. And I know that it will.
And just to clarify, this show grammatically, structurally, thematically is on point, right?
Well, it's definitely on point thematically and systematically. I don't know about grammatically, because I've picked up a glottal stop. So, I mean, that's lazy, but I will try my best to do my telephone voice.
Excellent work. Oh, Dave, it's been such a pleasure talking to you this evening.
You too, Leslie. Thank you so much for having me on.
Anytime. That's Dave Chawner. It's called The Underdog, on at the back room, the Star Inn in Guildford. Only costs £9 as well for a ticket. And as you've heard, hospital-grade air filters in operation as well. Thank you.
BBC Radio Surrey.